Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This, of course, is another anime reaction video. Today, we're going to be getting into more Gintama. We're going to be doing episode 37 and 38. Now, the whole last episode experiment, so to speak, turned out pretty good. I actually don't mind it, so I'm going to keep this whole thing going on. But, difference, I got my hair tied up again this time. It's, I can't think of how long it's been since I've had my hair tied up in the video, which I know for a fact it's not been that long, so I don't know why I'm breaking it up, but you know, it's a thing. So last two episodes of Gintama were amazing, so I'm really excited to get into more of it. I'm excited to see what what we've got in store. I hope this doesn't become like a trend. Well, like if the next two episodes have like a sort of interconnected story or whatever, like episode 34 and 35 had, an episode 32 and 33, I think, had, I'd be fine with that. But it's gonna suck if we have a pure, like, a disconnected episode as episode 37, and then have episode 38 have a cliffhanger, and and then I have to wait for a while to get to episode 39 to see the conclusion of it. That would be annoying. Oh, sorry about that interruption. As I was saying, if that does happen where there's like a cliffhanger in episode 38 and I have to go on to episode 39, that's gonna suck. But I guess if that does happen, that's just something I'm gonna have to get over, you know. So without further ado, we're gonna get started with episode 37, Gintama. Yeah, 37. Trying to remember in my head. I'm terrible at this. Forgive me. As always, link in the description to either Pixel Drain and BitChute for the uncut reaction. You can come back here for the discussion. Okay, so this episode was really good. Not to say I don't like the episode where like the stories are interconnected, but I think so far kind of prefer, because I guess we're not getting to like the really like deep and serious, like well written drama moments that I've apparently I've heard that people have said are in Gintama, and so far, like with the interconnected episodes, I've really enjoyed this sort of two-story thing, because at least in this case, like I think one of them a while ago where it had two stories in one episode, basically I didn't like it as much because it didn't have enough time to develop some interesting things that were going on, like I think it was like with Kagura and like a princess, even though I don't remember specifics about it. But what I'm trying to say is I really enjoyed this episode in the way they have the two stories, because they're both really funny. And even though they're really like out of season because I mean technically it's May right now as of this recording, and should still be May by the time this goes up on YouTube. If it doesn't, I'm seriously procrastinating editing it and uploading it, but May is before June, which is before July, which is before August, which is before September, which is before October, which is before November, which is before December. So I mean, it's basically already the Christmas season. So, and then right after that's January, so it's basically already the New Year's season as well. So if you really think about it, I'm just in time for this episode. It's really perfect. It's really perfect timing, really. I don't know how it happens, but anyway, what was I saying? Right, another great episode. I really enjoyed this episode, and I think what was really interesting. So the first half of this episode was the Christmas theme, where Gintoki helps out Santa, and some of the things I was talking about, like maybe happening, while they didn't happen, because again, this is only half an episode, so this was more focused on comedy, and like some of the ideas I was pitching on what would be cool to see happen in this episode were more wholesome. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I guess it is what it is, you know. Other than that, it was still a really funny, really funny episode. But I definitely feel like this is just like, yeah, no, I definitely feel like the whole Santa thing could have been extended to be like a longer thing, so to speak, if that makes sense. I feel like that could have they could have taken that some more interesting places other than just like what they did. But for what happened in the actual half of the episode, it was still great. I still loved it. And then the second half was also really interesting, because not only was it funny to watch Gintoki and Hattori fight over jump. It's kind of ties into like a message, so to speak. Uh, like you really shouldn't be going to these great of lengths just for some, like, when it comes down to it, pretty like shallow, like materialistic thing. Like I love manga as much as the next guy, as you can tell. But I mean, and I get this is exaggerated, but Jesus, they really really went to the extreme for this. And what was also really interesting about this episode is how, even though it wasn't like I was saying how it was going to be like a cliffhanger, or not sorry, yeah, cliffhanger that has to be continued in the next episode, they do introduce some things that tie into previously established things in the last episodes, excuse me, in the previous episodes, and are also setting up for potentially things in the future, which is really interesting. Specifically, what I mean is there's a scene. Here we go. There's this scene here with all of the, well, some of the members of the Shinsengumi. You've got Kondo, who's standing up giving a speech, completely nude. What a guy, by the way. And then, that's, see, if an anime girl was completely nude, was forced to be completely nude while giving a speech, you would know there would be a joke about how they would say they could never get married now. Kondo, you've just damned yourself. You're never going to get married now. I'm sorry. It's the rules of anime. But anyway. And then they bring up how they're still working on the case for the Mamushi, I believe is what it's called, which is the terrorist group that Amnesia Gintoki and Amnesia Kondo were working for a short period of time in episodes 31 and 32, question mark? I don't know if I'm getting that right. But even though it's not connected to anything that happens in this episode, it's really interesting they bring it up because it's definitely 100% setting up for future plot points, which is really interesting. Also, I didn't point it out in the episode, but I just noticed that the bottle is Snake Killer, which seems like it. Maybe I'm sure someone of you will explain in the comments, but that seems like sort of what they're setting up now. A motif for the Masumi is snakes, but that's basically what they are. They're snake killers. They're trying to deal with this snake because they cut off the head, but the tail is still flailing around, basically, is what they were saying. And another thing, while I was scrolling through this episode, let me see if I can find it again. Yeah, there we go. This frame, they've got a little snake design, really like mixed in with the writing for the side of the truck there, which is really just really like an interesting little design detail. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm really interested. I have to go back. I'm interested to see where that plot point's gonna go, the Mamushi, what they're gonna be up to in the future, because if you think about it, Katsura and Takasugi, which has been a while since we've seen Takasugi, but those two are part of, terrorist organizations that are working towards trying to free Edo from the Yamato, right? And I need to rewatch this scene. I don't even need headphones. But the remnants of the Mamushi, because I don't remember exactly what they said. The terminal, right? The terminal is the big tower, the spaceport, I think it was. So they're planning on destroying it. Yeah. So it's essentially, as far as I know, the third terrorist organization in the Gintama series so far, because we've got Katsura's group, and then Takasugi, as far as I know, it's been a while since we've seen him, so I might be getting details wrong, and I wonder when we're going to see him again, but he's sort of on his own from what I remember. And then the Mamushi, the remnants of the Mamushi, really, because their leader was taken out, they might still be doing something later on. But, and this was also a while ago, I can't remember, Sakamoto's just running, an interplanetary trading company, right? Because I think I remember when Elizabeth was first introduced, when they met with Katsura, to give Elizabeth to Katsura, did they mention Sakamoto's group was also anti-Yamato? I can't remember because I'm pretty sure he was in all of like the the Civil War, or like the Revolutionaries or whatever war that they were fighting in the past that we haven't seen fully yet. He was the one that sort of broke off and decided to go do something else far away. I am probably getting details so wrong. My memory of all this is kind of hazy, but again, I'm sure somebody's working on their essay as I speak right now. Which not to say that I'm not to make fun or, you know, say I don't like it, but you know, it's something to mention. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay. All in all, another great episode. We're about to get to episode 38 here. It was a really interesting episode, but at the same time, kind of odd. Like, I almost want to say that the second half of the episode specifically didn't really feel like a Gintama episode. Like, because they were definitely getting a bit more serious there. Serious stuff has happened, but it's usually mixed with like with the signature like Gintama humor that's like prevalent throughout the whole series. This one, it didn't have as much. Like, after the idea of the husband and wife was kind of introduced, I wouldn't say it faded out completely, but like the signature Gintama like comedy, I felt it didn't feel as present throughout it, which it's not a bad thing. It's just really interesting. This feels like it's an experiment for future serious things in Gintama. See how things might go if we dial down the comedy a bit more and have more serious things brought up, so to speak, like the passage of time, getting older, forgetting the people you love type of thing, having to give up your passion for the sake of other people type thing. And those are really interesting concepts. I think that they're really interesting, and I think it kind of worked really well. I wouldn't say really well, because in order for it to work really well, I feel like it should have been a whole episode and something that could expand more. But honestly, I'm willing to accept that it might just be because the ending of this episode, it didn't seem like it was going to be continued. Maybe it will be continued and I'm going crazy, but it just didn't feel like it had a really satisfying conclusion, I guess. Maybe that's the point. It's supposed to be like a bittersweet, melancholic thing. Like, they've gotten older, the wife has gotten sicker, and, you know, the husband is seemingly started to go off the rails, so to speak, and he's starting to remember her less and less. But even though it seems like he's starting to remember his own wife less and less, he still remembers the fireworks he loves so much, and he still wants to make fireworks for his wife, because even though he's described as a workman first and a family man second, he still is a family man at all, which means he probably still cares. And I think that's maybe, unless it gets continued in episode 39, maybe that's the point. It's supposed to be up to interpretation. Like, is he when he says, "Oi, are you looking?" Does he really mean her? I think it is. It's still a little bit vague. Maybe that was on purpose. Maybe it's just because of time constraints. Because, again, with having two different stories, unconnected in a single episode, it was most likely because there was only one chapter in the manga or something, or maybe it was two chapters and it was like faster paced or something. But I'll real quick talk about the first half of the episode. The first half of the episode was amazing. It was very funny. I loved it. seeing all of the because I think that's the greatest comedy from Gintama, is just seeing these characters that we've met and we've seen like be established, and seeing some of their like personality, and seeing that like how like and then seeing them interact in different situations is just like the funniest thing. Just watching them interact during everyday life, because for all intents and purposes this is just like a regular like day situation. There's no like huge like intense whatever plot. It's just like them going about their everyday life and interacting with each other. The only like special circumstances is there's a competition, but other than that, it's really just this comedy is just like exploring their personalities and like how they react in certain situations, which is amazing. I love it. It's really funny. It's really fucking funny. I love it. So that's really interesting. One thing I forgot to do in the discussion for episode 37, which I'm going to do now because I realized it at the beginning of episode 38 that I didn't do it. But I need to go look up the voice actor for Hattori because I feel like I remember, or I've heard it before, but I might be wrong. Fuck. Nope. Hattori Zenzo. Oh, Keiji Fujiwara? Oh, no. Oh, now I'm kind of sad. I'm even more sad than I was starting to get in the second half of this episode because Keiji Fujiwara was also the voice actor for a bunch of different characters. He was Maze Hughes. He's a Japanese voice actor for Maze Hughes in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'm pretty sure he was Hannes in Attack on Titan. Who else was he? He's also Lad Russo, I believe his name was, in Bakano. I think he was. I think I'm right. Am I right? Where's Bakano? Yeah, there he is, Lad Russo, Bakano. And the role I knew him most for was as best boy Leorio Paladinite in Hunter x Hunter, and damn, and Keiji Fujiwara, like I think it was it last year or the year before that Keiji Fujiwara passed away? Yep, April 12th, 2020, 2 days after my birthday. Wow, he passed away. Damn, I'm gonna miss him. He was amazing as a Leorio. And now I'm watching another series with him, and so it's really interesting. And I do really want to like Hattori now. So far I like him, but I hope to really like him as the series goes on because he is one of my favorite voice actors. See, on the one hand, maybe that was the point. Maybe the second half of the episode was meant to end like that, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just missing something, and it's gonna be continued in episode 39. I don't know. I'll just leave it be. I'll stop here. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to press the like button and subscribe. Turn on the bell notification if you want to see more Gintama reactions. And so you don't miss out on any uploads. Sorry, I paused there for a second because I couldn't think straight. Again, thank you very much for watching.